Either this one or this one. You can go between the two.
Where are you gonna look?
I'm gonna try to look at both at the same time. What's going on, guys? I'm Seth Dunlap. This is my good friend Jon Marzolla. Yeah. Today we're just gonna go through his setup for a Spotify live session of, who's the artist?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, cool flex. We've worked together a ton on various projects.
Dude, I mean, like, especially during probably 2020, it was like, I mean, probably 20 projects, 30 projects. We were doing like a bunch of like duo projects where it was just him and I.
Yeah, literally like, all right, well, you're gonna shoot it, you're gonna light it.
That feels so long ago.
It feels so long ago. Like 2020 feels like
insert photo of us here. We're holding
using black magic.
We're holding monopods.
Oh yeah, it's cool to see where your career has gone because you've gone really into the live music production a ton, and you also do a lot of doc work as well.
Yeah.
What do you like prefer? Like, do you prefer commercial, doc work, live music? Like, what do you prefer out of the three?
Probably music. I kind of grew up playing every instrument just about because I didn't like stick in the, I guess, like band lane. It was like the closest thing to marry like film and music together. So it felt like, I don't know, like kind of organic in a way.
You've done a lot of Spotify. You've done a lot of Apple Music. He's hired me to camera op on a lot of his Apple Music work. Yeah. And you've paved a way into the music industry that I think what I feel like is kind of where these live video productions are going, which is not just strictly 6 videos back to back to back. It's you know, it's what this Travis Scott special is. It's you know, it's a live song, and then it's an interview, and then you're talking to a fan, and then you're backstage. How did this project come to be? And you have an interesting story on how you were on vacation. You had to just bail out. So yeah, give me a little intro.
So one of my buddies hit me up for this, saying like the shoot was in Atlanta, and didn't like disclose who the artist was at first to kind of see if I was interested.
Which is always a sign of like, oh, this is gonna be.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, and so I like put my phone on mute, and I tell my wife, if this person is worth leaving vacation for, you know, we'll see. And then I like unmute it. I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. But basically it was like pitched as like, this is a live project. There's gonna be like interviews involved. There's gonna be like fan interaction. It was kind of like what you were talking about before, like concert films are kind of going in like a different direction. Yeah. Which I think is more engaging than just me personally, like watching a 60-minute or like an hour and a half, like.
It gets boring.
Yeah. So I basically left vacation, which I mean,
which you go on vacation like once every 4 years.
Yeah, so as you know me.
You had like 7 or 8 days to build out your entire visual plan for this project.
In a different state with different crew that I don't usually get to jam with a lot. So I had to trust a lot of recs, a lot of producer recs. So it was cool. I mean, I could just talk about this beginning part.
The beginning.
This location moved like 7 times. By the time he landed on the location, it was like, hey, we're gonna film Travis here. And then they're like, actually, no, we're gonna film it over here. Oh, no, we're actually gonna film it over here. Yeah. And like me and the gaffer.
And you were shooting with?
We were shooting with minis and FX3s.
Yeah.
And high-end cameras.
You were like basically carrying around Alexa minis to different rooms. You're like, this room or this room.
Totally. Yeah. Which we had like, once we set in a place, we had like a great plan. It felt great. We lit it all, tested it all. But Jared had this like nasty cool plan of doing flashlight lighting on him, an actual flashlight. So we had Art give us 7 different flashlights, and me and Jared would like look at them.
So this is lit with?
A flashlight.
One flashlight.
One flashlight. I think Jared, with the little bit of time we had with him, I think we had 10 minutes with him, I think he kind of prepped and was like, hey, you cool if this is our light kind of thing. And he seemed cool with it, and he also puts on sunglasses a lot, so it kind of like, you know, it kind of like worked.
Matches the vibe. What lenses were these that you shot this with?
We shot with vintage Cooks, zooms basically. And I had all different focal lengths. I also had like fisheye lenses, and
that's cool.
Kind of like mixed up the world a little bit. Yeah, this is like in a back room.
Is that Steadicam?
Yeah, Tim Yoder from Nashville actually came down, and he's awesome. These moments like backstage, Jared would grab certain fans who were like diehards of Travis over the years.
Yeah.
And these were all like unprompted, not scheduled
Really?
people. Yeah, they're all just like...
Were they so pumped to be like, oh yeah, totally, I'll talk about this concert?
So apparently like this was never announced. This was tweeted on a parody account.
With like how much notice before the show?
I think 3 or 4 hours, something crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What focal length is this?
I believe that's a 9mm from what I remember.
Yeah.
That was just an FX3. My gaffer and grip kind of rigged it a certain way where it like had a little bit of shake, but nothing like crazy. What you can't tell is there's security guards, maybe 20 of them in the front of the stage that we hid very well.
Wow.
But like we wanted to get this camera in different angles, but we kind of couldn't because they were right there.
Did you guys have any camera issues while you were doing this, or was it pretty seamless?
It was pretty seamless. I think we lost one mini DV, which is kind of the beast of shooting anything analog that is, you know, that many of them in a space like that. I think it's kind of inevitable, but I think we lost one.
Talk about the direction of the camera ops.
You probably have known this being on set with me, but I like to go to each camera op and bring them to their designated spot and kind of talk about, this is the coverage we want to do, this is how long we want you to be on the artist or musicians, this is the focal lengths, kind of get them comfortable in their designated area. So I did that, I walked them through everything, and then kind of the big message for me was like, because some of his history, even though I'm like massive Travis Scott fan, there's still like reality that it can get a little rough. And so I told all the cam ops, don't be a hero tonight. Like if you need to bail out because the crowd gets like pumped, then bail out.
What were your lighting limitations here? What were you allowed to do? What were you not allowed to do?
A lot of the times you're collaborating with the LD, essentially your gaffer, for people who have never done this before. It was like a conversation of just like, you know, what does Travis normally do? What's a show usually look like? What do you usually do? I kind of find out that information, and then I try to like tweak and tweak and tweak as much as I can. So it was a same day load in, which in the touring world happens, but like usually you get a pre-light day in the film world. There was no pre-light for this. So one of the things we did was, these are all high-8 cameras. And if you can see, and we'll try to pause it, so I don't have any photos of this right now.
This is great.
But basically, we rigged up a kit that you can record on SD card and on tape. So that if one fails, at least you have one or the other. I mean, granted, one's tape and one's technically like a more digital version of it. But it was kind of our fail-safe. Batteries last forever on these because they're older cameras, like home movie camera that your mom used. So it's like, you didn't have to worry about that.
Where did you get these cameras from? And also, how did you figure out how to do recording to SD cards? And also, what's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot?
Kidding. There's a plug in Nashville. He's a guy who's not even in the film industry, and he owned a bunch of these.
What's his name? Are we allowed to disclose his name?
I'm not gonna disclose his name. He's for moi.
He's for you. It's your
moi.
little secret.
You know who you are.
Okay, so tell me about the camera rig for someone that you know wouldn't know, because I obviously know what all of this is because I'm a filmmaker.
Oh, you definitely know this is stop. This is Alexa Mini, just like the older one, not the LF or 35 or anything. It's a Cook vintage zoom, so it's a 20-100. These are awesome. I use these quite a bit. And then you got Teradek, you got your other little AKS on it, and then the DV up at the top. We'll
go from BTS to your camera plot, which you couldn't do a lighting plot, which you usually do a lighting plot and a camera plot, totally. Which I do that too.
Do you? What do you use?
I use Lightroom.
Oh, nice. That's a lie.
Yeah, it's a Lightroom lie. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, I usually do a camera prep document for all the ACs that are prepping the cameras, so that by the time the day of happens, I'm getting less questions. It kind of clears my brain a little bit, and I've learned to
this is your fail-safe, essentially.
Fail-safe, it's like, here's the copy of it. In case I'm away, you can still do your job, I can still do my job.
If your flight gets delayed, you can still have your entire 100%. Team doing everything.
100%. That's a great point, actually. I need to think of it like that, too. It's like a fail-safe type of thing. I never know if this is a helpful doc to them, but I still make it for my sake.
No, I think it's good.
gave them.
I feel like you can never over prepare,
For sure.
especially whenever you're dealing with more than 3 cameras.
Sure.
It's like you gotta have some kind of plan.
For sure. This was a little bit chaotic on how I wrote this, but this was like just some basic like priorities of the shoot, which is basically like there's B-roll outside, there's an interview with Travis, and then there's the live show. And that's like the very condensed way of putting it. And then I gave, these are general notes for my AC's eyes only. It was nothing like for everybody to see. So it's a little bit chaotic, but they understood it. But basically I said the steady cam will like start on the Mini and then it'll end on the High 8 at the end of the day, which is the BTS I showed you.
Yeah.
I said how many cameras we need to see on a multi-view. I talked about extra Teradeks. I talked about we have limited time for the Travis reset.
Yeah.
I talked about weight potential issues, and then I talked
for the Steadicam.
Yeah, just because like I'm adding that extra thing on.
Yeah.
Or extra camera on. Sorry. It's like every little bit matters, and I don't want Steady Op to be dying when it's a 45-minute roll. So.
Yeah.
The Alexa Mini was in blue, High 8s were in red, and yellow was FX3. I don't usually do color coordination. It's kind of chaotic, but for this,
you had so many
it was just all different. We need to differentiate it. One camera that definitely didn't go through with the plan was I wanted a camera on a fan at the top, which would have been diabolical and like spinning with the crowd underneath. Yeah. I did not get approved from I think security, let's put it
that way. They were like, you're not going to put a rotating camera up there. It's going to fall in.
I always like, I don't know about you, but I always like to go for the moon and let somebody be like, yeah, probably not.
You like to be ring back in. Yeah.
A director usually makes this plot, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. And sometimes a DP will make it, director will tweak, or vice versa. So it's a collaborative document. For sure. So like I made it, Jared looked at it, some other folks looked at it. It's not a doc you keep to yourself. So you have to be open to getting critiques. So M1's right here. This is all the Alexa Mini side, the High 8, the FX3, right? So this M1 is gonna have a 20-100 with sticks servo. Boom.
Wow.
Done. Then you go find M2. This is another Alexa Mini, 25-250, way bigger lens than this one, sticks and servo. It also shows like it's a medium, it's a close-up.
Wow, so you're camera build, potential shot, sizing, and like camera rig.
Yep. And the best part about zooms is like, we can say medium close-up, but if the director is like, actually, I want something super, super wide, it can go to 25. You know what I mean? So it kind of has like some variables into it. That's what I did for every single camera.
Dang, dude, that is a lot of work. How many hours do you think you put into this doc?
8 hours, 10 hours.
Wow.
But like actual working time.
Yeah. For me, this would take like between 80 and 100 hours.
That's because you have an old.
I'm like, how do you put this little camera guy here?
So this is like the camera build section. It's kind of where I do like settings and stuff.
And if you're watching this and none of this makes any sense to you, and you're scared to be a filmmaker, it's okay because I am too. And I have no idea what this means. What advice do you have for someone that's kind of stepping into the live space? Because you've been doing it for like 5 or 6, 7 years now?
7 years now, yeah. I was surrounded by a lot of musicians in Nashville, and so I would just say start with, if you know anybody who does music, like start there, even if it's one person, like a singular acoustic player, like figure out how to make that one person feel good with 2 cameras. Start with like 2 cameras if you can do it. Try your best to match those cameras, because that's what's really tough. It's like there's 14 cameras. How do you make the angles feel kind of cohesive enough to when you cut, it doesn't feel like jarring. Yeah. I would definitely suggest cam opping for a DP.
Yeah.
Like definitely reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I know you might have something in the city, or I'll come to you type of thing. If you have something lower pressure or something, like I would love to be on it.
But dude, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate you. Love
absolutely.
you. If you guys have any questions for Jon, leave them in the comment section below. Subscribe. And how can they follow your work?
You can follow my work on Jon Marzolla on Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome. What's your MySpace?
It's none your business.
Noneyourbusiness.com.
.com. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jon. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Love you, dude.
I thought you were about to kiss me.